You are this presence, this aware space. And we don't need to understand it because understanding arises in it. Think of this room or this video that you're watching right now, or maybe the room that you are in right now. Really look around and notice that there is just simply this here-ness, this awareness. So many words for one non-thing, really, because awareness is not a thing. It's really the subject. It's not an object, but the mind, which is an object itself, appears in it, and then it tries to grab it and turn it into an object. I mean, everything that you can see, everything that you can perceive, even the sense of localization, even the sense that you are aware is an object itself. And the emphasis here is that we need to remain in this now, go beyond the concepts. Because in fact, this is the only thing real. Let's call it, for the benefit of this video, the space, this silent, aware space in which everything moves. Everything moves. Not just your body, but your thoughts, your sensations, sounds, everything going around you. And any fear, any restlessness, any movement, because mind is movement, happens in this space. And it's a very movement, whether it's of a sound or a desire, anything really. Any movement is going to be content in this contextual field, we can say it is. We can also say that it's an undivided field in which everything appears, and there's no way outside of this field, of this space. You are this space, and this space has not moved since you've been here. No matter the movement that you have, no matter the thoughts, the sensations that you have, even if you think you've lost it, it's always going to be here. And I notice this in my experiences when I'm having a certain sensation, stories, thoughts. I've been dealing with a lot of cravings and habits and patterns and really deconditioning this biological machine, because that's what it is. You're not really in control of it. That's just an overlay, a thought. And so it's really about mastering, if we can say, your attention. Now, attention is mind, right? It's contraction on a specific something, on an object. But you have the ability to broaden that attention, to relax that attention. I had a spiritual teacher who talked about this attentionless state and taking our attention away from the object and kind of noticing the space around it. And if you actually look, you notice that you are actually watching that space. It's not the mind doing it. It's you looking at yourself, because the scene is seeing itself. The space is what's looking. And this is what you've always searched for, not to negate anything else. I mean, this is the whole paradox where we're saying this is what you are, but yet these words, these movements, desires, problems, stories, they all appear and they come and go. And this is the play of life, the dream of life, which again, we're not saying that it's not real. It's real as an experience of movement in this stillness that is always here. And you can confirm that when you simply look at it. The sense of localization behind our eyes, that we're here located, that I'm in the body because I sense it, makes us feel like we're not this space. Because when I move, right, if I'm moving, even my hands, how can I be this space, yet I'm moving? And so if we really investigate that, that's actually being watched. That is actually being watched. And there's an assumption, a deep-rooted assumption, that you are somehow in the body. And that's why it's critical to always remain in this attentionless state. Where is your attention most of the time? Because if you notice, it's going to be in thoughts. They're subtle. You can't really see them, but yet they're interpreting everything. This is a survival mechanism since you were a child. And I don't know about you, but because I talk about this consciousness and thoughts and the nature of reality and manifestation and energy, I tend to see the subtleties. more sensitive to sound, to sight, to sensations. And so I notice these little things, and I can notice that this attention is constantly moving. And this assumption that we're in the body is also being noticed by this attention. Even if I were to say somehow that I am in the body and there's no way out of it, there's something that is aware of that, something that has its attention on that. And because we try to locate that attention, we try to grasp it and see it, but you can't, because it's you. You are the attention itself, not a contracted version, as I said, but it's more of this attentionless state where there is no need to really focus on anything. And in that, you start to become literally like the space. For example, you could say that I'm here, or notice where you are and say I'm here. But if you remove the I, they're simply just here. Right here is what's real. You could say that I'm speaking or I'm looking, but if you remove the I, they're simply just looking. And those are facts. Those are what are in your direct experience. You see, the story is not there. This attention, because it's not trained, tends to move with mind. And like I said, mind is a movement. And when we start to believe more of the thoughts, the stories, we forget of this silent, still space. This is wholeness, not because you may have everything, but because it doesn't need anything. It doesn't need it to be a certain way. I've seen this in my experience with cravings, with desires, with movement. The moment I want it to be different, it creates the sense of lack. But the lack itself is a thought, because to imply that you want something says that this moment wasn't good enough. Really, it was just the absence of thought. It was the absence of, there's nothing wrong with it, there is no problem. And so mastering our attention, which is awareness itself, is this very still field, the space, which is everything we want. And the whole paradox of this, movement still happens, that desires still happen, that wantings will still arise, and life will still go on. But there will come a point in time where you recognize that all you wanted was to be here, because this is the only rest that you'll get. You won't get it in the movement of life. Life is pains and pleasures and movement and chaos, and it's like a wave. It's going up and down, and the only rest that you'll ever have is that ocean, this still, silent, aware space that, again, it's you. And when you recognize that it's always been you, and you've actually never moved, the real you, not the idea of you, because the idea of you is going to have a lot of different thoughts about what should be and what shouldn't be. And when you look at the space here and now, there is no life, there is no movement. And that's not the point. The whole point is to recognize yourself as this still, silent, aware space. And from that, move, but move as stillness, move as silence, move as awareness, and not as this needy little small I that is never fulfilled. It's never going to be enough. When the attention rests on this space, on this stillness, on this awareness, then the play of life becomes easier. You don't suffer as much, or at least you don't get trapped by it. You don't get defined by it. And to me, that is all we're really looking for. And it's already here. And all we need to do is just put our attention on ourselves, on this looking, on this space. This is it.